The Knights of Leren are a chaos warband devoted to Slaanesh. They were once a fleet-based warband, particularly infamous for their tendency to infiltrate, fortify and corrupt imperial pleasure worlds into Slaanesh-worshipping utopias rather than the raiding and pillaging typical of Slaanesh worshippers. However, after rediscovering and claiming the world of Leren as their own, they have since shifted their focus to defending this world from their many rivals, as well as repaying the various debts they incurred in order to claim it. The original founders of Knights of Leren were proud members of the Third Legion, the Emperor's Children, during the Great Crusade. While they served in different capacities in different millennials of the Legion, these founders all had one thing in common. They were all present on Leren at some point during the infamous cleansing of Leren, the campaign in which Fulgrim took up the Lairblade, and with it his first step down the Sixfold Path. Shortly after the Battle of Skelathrax that saw the World Eaters and Emperor's Children Legion shattered, a mysterious, unidentified figure known only as the Silver Knight of Slaanesh gathered some of the most mentally stable members of the Emperor's Children and gave them a single directive ordered by Slaanesh herself: restore the lost glory of the lair. For millennia, this was interpreted as a call to conquer and establish a world in Leren's image, a self-sustaining Slaanesh-worshipping utopia. Led by Lord Gaius, the Knights of Leren would travel throughout the galaxy, seeking out imperial pleasure worlds to infiltrate, fortify, and corrupt to the worship of Slaanesh. To keep these societies functional, the warband enforced a single rule that became known as the One Law of Leren. Do not hinder another's pursuit of pleasure while seeking your own, for doing so halves Slaanesh's praise. While deliberately vague, it nonetheless quelled the type of excess that would otherwise lead to eventual societal collapse, while still allowing both themselves and the population to practice their vices to their heart's content. These worlds would inevitably be discovered by the Imperium, however, and the Knights of Leren would be forced to retreat, albeit with ships filled with new recruits and anything else of value they were able to claim, allowing them to gradually grow in strength. Everything changed when what was originally a half-hearted attempt to get another warband to owe them a favor by sowing discord on the shrine world of Aertha revealed a startling discovery. Aertha was, in fact, the lost world of Leren, resettled by the Imperium after its heretical history had been purged from Imperial records. Compounding the surprise even more, they found irrefutable evidence that the Knights Celestial chapter that called Aertha their homeworld was in fact a loyalist chapter of Emperor's Children, rather than the Imperial Fists they claimed to be. What was once believed to be a metaphorical calling by their god's greatest champion was suddenly revealed to be a direct, literal order from Slaanesh herself, and one the Knights of Leren were all too thrilled to obey. For the next few thousand years, the Knights of Leren and the Knights Celestial, along with their successor chapters, engaged in a series of conflicts known as the Aertha Crusades. Control of Aertha changing hands countless times between the two sides during these conflicts, with invariably devastating consequences for the civilian populace. In 999 M41, with the help of their two closest allies, the Servants of the Truth and the Angeli Antiquis Renegade chapter, the Knights of Leren launched what would be known as the Last Aertha Crusade. Carefully planned by Tzeentchian sorcerers from the Servants of the Truth, the assault was timed to perfectly line up with the fall of Cadia and the formation of the Cicatrix Maledictum. Just as planned, Lord Gaius locked himself into single combat with the Chaptermaster of the Knights Celestial and delivered the killing blow at the exact instant the Great Rift engulfed Aertha. Gaius then used his slaying of the Chaptermaster as an offering to Slaanesh, and gathered the torrent of warp energies around them to fuel both his ascension to demonhood and the corruption of Aertha into the demon world of Leren. Shortly thereafter, the entirety of the remaining Knights Celestial were slain down to the last man. The Knights of Aertha's successor chapter fell to their knees and swore allegiance to the newly ascended Demon Prince Gaius and Slaanesh, and the remaining successor chapters only barely managed to flee with the help of the Alpha Legion officer codenamed Carriers. Now, with literal Leren established as Prince Gaius' personal demon world that he could reshape entirely to his will, the Knights of Leren were finally able to create the Slaaneshi utopia they always dreamed of. Over time, it became not only the seat of their own small empire, but also a site of unholy pilgrimage for all who revere the Dark Prince, whether they do so exclusively or as a part of the pantheon. As with all things chaos, however, this has both blessed and damned the Knights of Leren and their Demon Prince Master, for while they finally have everything they have ever desired, they are now doomed to an eternity of defending it. The refounded Knights Celestial, the Ordinators, the Ashimand Overguard, the Draken Harbingers, the Malignant Spirits, the Ashen Maulers, even other Emperor's Children warbands, the list of enemies that want to see them dead, and rivals that want to see them deposed, is nearly as infinite as the Dark Prince's delight in the irony of it all.